Testing, testing. Testing.
I call this meeting. I am. Okay. Okay, I'll put it right up close. I call to order the Monday, March 25th, 2024 Historic Preservation and Design Standards Advisory Committee meeting. I am Monica Poss, and I will ask my committee members, co-committee members to please introduce themselves briefly.
I'm Nancy Catherman.
Caroline Noya.
Erica O'Neill.
Joplin. Thank you. Jill, do we need to approve any minutes from the last meeting?
This is a special called meeting, so you'll be approving last meeting at the
The next meeting.
regular meeting, and then
Okay.
you'll also approve the minutes from this one, which comes to point of order is that Victoria will not be here today, and she's our secretary. So you need to appoint someone to be the secretary.
Erica and I have already discussed it, and she has kindly volunteered.
Well, that's very nice, especially since she hasn't been officially voted
I
in
know,
yet.
I know. It's a super, she's an amazing volunteer and participant already.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. Okay.
All right, that is item number one. Item number two is discussion and action to appoint a Chamber of Commerce representative. Do we have anyone signed up to speak? Looks like not. Erica, the new chamber president, has been nominated, I guess, to fill that spot. Any comments?
I nominate Erica O'Neill to replace Susie Cannon.
I will second it.
Do I hear a motion?
I so move.
Oh. All right, anyone in favor of the nomination of Erica O'Neill to be appointed a Chamber of Commerce representative to the Historic Preservation Design Standards Advisory Committee? Say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. Now you can officially keep the minutes. All right, item number three, discussion and action on an amendment to our mural policy regarding simple mural additions. Jill, could you fill us in on that with the detail?
Yes, absolutely. So this comes in, I'm going to share the screen here for a minute also, if I can figure out the technology. You have what the has been proposed from the front room. What they basically would like to do is just, you've already approved their mural. And so what they wanted to do was to add Smithville, Texas, basically, and welcome. So these are some options. They sent us just this afternoon, she sent us these options. You are not considering the options, you're just considering this as a concept. So basically, what we're looking for is when it's something this simple, that seems to be like basically a no-brainer, this would be good for Smithville. If we can do something where they propose this, they choose one, between, I guess it would be an administrative approval where, they would speak between Tracy, Robert, and myself, and one would be chosen. And then it wouldn't have to come before all y'all. It would just be a very simple administrative approval and they could start work within a week. So if you want to do something where, if you wanted to, now discuss as you like, we just are trying to avoid a 60-day delay on something that's super simple like this. So if you wanted to discuss that, pros and cons, what kinds of things might be considered quote unquote simple, what kinds of things, where the line might get drawn, where it would have to come before the committee again. But like I said, this would be a pre-approved, you've already approved the mural, they've probably already painted it or they're in process, and something simple kind of comes up and says, oh yeah, we should probably put Smithville, Texas on it, or something like that, like in this example. So if we wanted to do something to be able to just make the process easier for the person who's doing the mural, that's just, it came up as, wanted to bring that up as a potential policy. Does that?
Yeah. Just to open up comment here, I would think that in this specific instance, this is doesn't require a lot of debate. It's a very simple addition. The colors match what's already there. It doesn't detract from what was already approved, and it highlights Smithville specifically. For me, the question would become, how do we draw a line between what can be as, administrative approval and what falls under the kind of change that we would want to see come before the committee? An example might be the portraits on the, what is that? Yes, the water tank. What if somebody wanted to replace the eyes with googly eyes? I mean, in essence, that's a very simple change, but it changes the entire aesthetic and respectfulness of the portraits to begin with. So how do we delineate between things like that?
One thing just to keep in mind is that it would still require an administrative approval. So it doesn't just happen just because the building owner wants it. It would have to come to make sure and then it would be in, presumably, those of us who are working in these positions are trying to do what's in the best interest of the town. So googly eyes on the, well, that might not really fly for us either.
You'd say no on that one.
Yeah,
For-
yeah, I
okay.
think so.
Comment? Question?
I mean, this is a very obvious case of a little bit more is a little bit better, you know. We just wouldn't want, I mean, this mural, I think covers maybe 10% of that wall along Second Street. I mean, if somebody was gonna put Smithville, Texas and cover another 30% or 10% or, a large part of the remaining part of the building, then it might, I mean, there might be something simple that we could say it is going to cover just a, 5 or 10% at the max more space on the building. I don't know. As far as, as far as taste, I think we'll just have to trust the administrators in the mayor's office.
I agree with that. And also, I think that if the administrative people, that whoever the parties may be there, if they would have some debate among themselves and then they couldn't decide, then I think they would probably say, send it back to the committee.
That's exactly right. I think if it would come to the point where between those of us on administrative staff would say, like, we just can't decide, it really is kind of on the edge, then we would have a certificate of appropriateness that would come before y'all. So when it's something, I mean, clearly having Smithville, Texas, welcome everybody. It really doesn't, that's just, now we've just got a devil in the detail, figure out which one, right? There doesn't seem to be any question that that would be something good for the town. That I can't imagine. I mean, y'all seem, right? Y'all agree. But there would potentially be, they're all using the same colors, like all that stuff. So, but there could potentially be something where it's on that edge, and we would bring that out to you. And I was going to say, we might also, now we don't have right now, and I don't know how open meetings isn't, it's dicey with open meetings. So I would have to check with Jennifer and see if we can do something where we could share this with y'all. And then if you say, don't administratively approve it, we want to take a look at it, we could also do that. So step number one could be send it out to y'all. If anybody has an objection to administratively approving it, then we would call a meeting and do it that way.
And if you send it to 3 or more of us, then you could violate the Opens Meeting Act, or a certain number of us you could. But if you send it to a subset, like the chair and vice chair, then that's just 2 people, and I don't think there would be any risk there. I do like the idea. I mean, we have administrative approval on a number of things now, and I think you have great judgment. We don't know who comes after you, or, I mean, you may be here another 30 years, but there's time after that. No. Um, and I think, I think Walter brings up a really good point about how much of the mural is changing. So in this case, it's a very small percentage, whether it's 10%, 15%. And Carolyn brought up a point about it being of similar colors or stylistically similar. So I think we would want to put some parameters around it. Do you think you'd be open to drafting that? I think conceptually, we could probably make a motion that conceptually we're in agreement on it and we just need to formalize the language.
Absolutely. I can draft something. So right now I'm hearing colors, percent of area change. I don't, I'm
It-
sorry?
A correction, if somebody
Correction.
needs to change it for a correction.
Sure. Yeah, sure. And if you, no googly eyes, yeah.
And if y'all can't make a decision.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
So
is conflict.
okay, and I guess if anybody has any other comments, if you want to make them now or think about it and email me before I set it up as far as finalizing. So at the next actual meeting, we'll put it in to formalize the policy. Is that so? I'll send out a draft. Y'all can make comments on the draft, and then I'll make changes to the draft per comments, and then you can, right?
Can someone put that in a motion?
On the last example, it shows them putting Texas on the sidewalk, and it looks pretty big. Is that also be considered?
So I would say in this particular example, I would say that we probably don't want to put anything on the sidewalks. First, in this specific case, we're going to be tearing up those sidewalks in the next couple of months anyway. Secondly, because of traffic, I'm not sure that it's a good idea to have paint on the ground. It just seems like that's going to be more wear and tear. And also they have other examples that I think I would say, now I can't speak for everybody that would be administratively approving this, but I would say that the other examples seem to be stronger examples anyway. So but in those parameters, maybe the other thing I can say, because the sidewalk belongs to the city, it doesn't belong to the building owner. And so I can put in those parameters that might be, well, I mean, that might just be something to consider as a mural. When you're considering murals in the first place, that would be something that, I don't know if we need to codify that or not, but that would be something that.
We need to codify that because it's not their property. Any other questions or comments? Anyone want to make a motion?
I move that we have Jill or someone in City Hall staff to make have a draft of the suggestions that we've given tonight and have Jill send those out to us, to this committee or members of the committee. And we will vote on it at the next meeting.
Any seconds?
I second that.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And item number 4, I adjourn the meeting.